excuse me, they didn't ask, they simply told the person that there was some kind of warrant or want for them because they did not show up for jury duty. They didn't ask them to do anything else. They called back a little later, were you able to take care of that? No, I can help you take care of it. What I need you to do is go down to the grocery store and get me some Bitcoin and transfer the money to me. The person actually tried to do that. Thankfully, the transaction failed. So we won't be calling you and asking you for money. Other notable calls for service, dispatch received a report of a vehicle brandishing a firearm, but we were unable to locate it. Paso Robles had a similar type of report, and I think they were able to get a stop on those subjects. We had a subject threatening some C.S.D. personnel. Then I want to remind everybody, we have rain and we are entering the wet season. That is coming up here, and we ask that you visit readyslow.org. That is the county's website to help you prepare for the seasons. It also gets you into the mindset of where you are located and what zone you should be looking for that information. And that is my report for this month.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So when you arrest somebody, we hear crime across the country, and the problem is people get arrested and they're released right away. How are we doing in our county? And when you guys arrest somebody, are they prosecuted, or is it a catch and release like we hear so much in the big cities?
So it's the same throughout the state. The state is governed by the same rules and regulations that govern the prisons, and govern the jail systems, and govern the court systems. So yes, it's the same throughout the state of California.
So the DA,
holding people is very difficult.
so the DA doesn't have a lot of autonomy in that? Or?
No, for the prosecution part, I was referring specifically to the book and release.
Okay.
And what crimes we can book on, what crimes can be held, what crimes must go to thing. Most misdemeanors are released, okay? Most are cited in the field, handled in the field, and then those that get booked are likely to be released on a promise to appear, or they can bail out at a rather low rate. And then the felons will be, have a bail and or arraigned when they get to that. The DA's office has their prosecutorial, judicial, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Discretion. So, yes, they do that.
You have something?
I was just going to ask, can we have the sheriff's deputy respond to
Respond. Could you respond to his concerns? Because I think he's misunderstanding about traffic compared to what the sheriff does.
Sure.
Okay.
If the gentleman in the audience would like to repeat the question.
Yes.
I'm just saying that since I moved here, I lived in Pascadero for 12 years, never had one problem. Before I moved here, my house was broken into 4 times. I had multiple things stolen. I've seen multiple traffic incidences on Mission Street, stolen cars being abandoned in front of my house. I've seen numerous pedestrians with children nearly get ran over because people are excessively speeding on Mission and L Street. Every single night there's street racing in this town on Mission and L Streets. So the runaround I get is from the sheriff department. All street crimes seem to be the CHP, and the CHP hardly ever shows up. By the time they get here, it's almost an hour later. For any other crimes that have occurred, I've had great response from the sheriff's department. I'm just curious why we can't have anyone dedicated to this area, considering the large amount of crime. And from your report, it seems like it's increasing.
Okay, I appreciate your question, and I'm sorry you feel that way, and I'd be happy to talk with you one-on-one. Yes, no one should give you the runaround. I'm sorry if that is happening. We do direct all the traffic-related calls to the California Highway Patrol. They have jurisdiction throughout the state, and we have a memorandum of understanding with them to handle traffic-related incidents, whether it be accidents, the speeding, and the traffic. I will report to the board and to you as well that just yesterday I got together a sergeant from the California Highway Patrol and my station sergeants for one specific purpose, and that is the unauthorized car shows that we've been having in here. And that is a lot related to that drag racing and burning and everything. Now, I don't want to stop the car show, I don't want to stop the people from getting there, but I do want to stop the illegal activity. And so I have asked those sergeants to get together and come up with a plan to address that. I have not got feedback on that. If there are specific problems, you're welcome to call the sheriff's office. We do have services available. A neighborhood watch is a very good thing to have for people to get together. Now, were those burglaries before you actually moved in, when the house was vacant?
And then after we had started moving in, then continued.
Yeah, we have seen that throughout the county, where the unsheltered homeless population will see an opportunity in these things. They will try to move in, they will take advantage of those situations, and it provides shelter for them. So that is a very big and real growing concern that we'll do that. And I know I've had questions before about deputies specifically dedicated to this area. I recently received the numbers on that, on how much it would cost. I did not bring it with me tonight, and I don't want to make a guess off the top of my head. But it's not cheap. It's very expensive. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to ask about, was about the possibility of a sheriff's substation or a single dedicated unit.
I have a comment, if I could. I've reported to the sheriff things that I've seen, and they've always responded. The Highway Patrol, believe it or not, if you've got a license plate and you know, but if they don't, they just come down and they're gone, there's nothing you can do about it. But there's been 3 instances where I reported drag racing, and I got the license plate, and some other illegal activities that fall in their purview. And they responded, and those people got ticketed. So if you can get that information at all, but it's really tough for them to come down here.
We have no traffic slowdown from the highway all the way down. People are hitting 70 miles an hour in front of my house.
Yeah, I go down Mission to go home, and I have people running the stop signs.
Yeah, if you go
It's every day. I mean, they don't even look, they just go through, yeah.
Yeah, the whole way, you're going speed limit, they will be on you. I'm gonna start running it just yesterday. Mission 11th Street.
All right, Anthony, do you have something?
Yeah, I have just a couple more comments. I don't want to speak for the California Highway Patrol, and I'm not a traffic engineer. I know in Los Osos we had similar problems 20 such years ago, and they built traffic calming devices into the roads. And that's engineer stuff, but I did see a change in traffic behaviors there in Los Osos when they did that. Both our agencies, the California Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Office, have very large jurisdictions. I believe, I'm not exactly sure, that California Highway Patrol has Templeton all the way to the county line and over to Cambria and San Simeon and everything, and all the way out Highway 46 out there. So it is quite large. And then we cover everything from the county line to the grade, from the coastal mountains to the county line. And it is approximately 1,700 square miles that we patrol.
How many deputies do you have?
It depends at any given time. Right now, I have approximately 26 between specialty assignments where I have school resource deputies for rural crime and those kind of positions, and then our patrol staff.
How many do you need?
That's an open-ended question. I can't answer.
Well, I know that nothing's changed. Back in 1976, I was witnessing a car being stripped on Nelson Middle Dam. Called the sheriff. There was no sheriff available. They were at a fight down at Tuscadero Lake. So he said, I'll get the highway patrol. One highway patrolman, clear back then, he was in King City. He couldn't respond. And so nothing's changed that way for the highway patrol. And I'm kind of curious why that is with increased traffic.
You know, just like the C.S.D., the county, we all have strict budgets. It's hard to get more money. It's hard to increase these things. I know that in the coming year, the next fiscal year, we're going to be looking at a budget deficit compared to the current year. And it's hard. Employment costs, you know, our biggest cost is the personnel that we have. Those are significant. And then hiring is also more and more difficult now. And that's a whole nother story.
Thank you. Do you have something, Anthony?
I do have a couple of things, just so you know. we do have the sheriff's speed station project that is still being worked on, and it's through the planning department phase with our firefighter temporary housing unit, if I'm not mistaken. So that is going to be the substation that is going through, it's already been approved. We're just waiting through the bureaucracy and the red tape. Then there's also Scott's shaking his head like, yeah, he knows about it. Also at the end, there was also an item about lighting and landscaping. One of the things I brought up was specifically actually traffic calming measures along Mission Street because it'll make the downtown more beautiful and will hopefully slow down some of the traffic there. But I was also curious, I know though C.S.D, we are limited in our scope and authority, but if maybe, I don't know your schedule, but I would like to, find some solutions, if there's even low cost solutions, maybe things that we could work on, partner with, to help, with public safety, to help your department, because I appreciate everything you guys do. I've lived in this town my entire life, and so I know how challenging it is for you guys to respond to a call here when you're out in Shannon, when you're out in Cal Valley, so, I would like to.
Absolutely. Any chance we can.
Okay, so.
I have one question in regards to that. Do we have any community, I know in Tuscaloosa we have community officers that were basically like volunteers, I guess, that would go around with full times?
Yes.
Is that something we have up here?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We do have a auxiliary volunteer patrol. That they're out there. It looks like a regular patrol car, but it has amber lights on it. And their responsibility, their duty out there is to observe and report. They are not to take any type of action. They also do our home check, business checks for us, and they do other important items out there as well. But we do have that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Owen, you have something?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Can I like an email address unless our clerk has an email?
I got his.
Okay, so I can reach out. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Community services organizations.
I represent one of those.
You represent.
Good evening, Scott Young, San Diego Firefighter Association. Busy time of the year for us. We are working towards our 33rd annual San Diego Christmas Light Parade this Saturday at 6 p.m. If you haven't entered, there's still time to enter. We will be utilizing the services of North County Santa, which is a pretty decent organization. Our attendance will be enhanced by the addition of their equipment, plus we have a pretty good turnout of applications, but there still is time. We were very successful in our toy drive. It's our 4th annual toy drive with Choro Valley regulators. They're very generous. We also appear to be very successful with our sponsors at Gallo. And we have a new sponsor this year, Mercy Air 34. So they are helping us help the children of San Miguel have Christmas and pass out toys. Mercy Air will be landing, barring any abnormal weather or emergency, so the airship will be on display. You can come out, look at the airship, meet and greet the flight medics. It's a good opportunity. If you do PR thing, they enjoy doing that. We were able to sponsor one of our firefighters all the way through the Allen Hancock Academy. He's a graduate of Battalion 152, along with another one of our firefighters, but one was fully sponsored by the San Diego Firefighter Association. So a pretty big accomplishment for us and an enhancement to our community. Other than that, I think that'll conclude my report. Unless you have any questions.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the work you guys are doing on the parade.
Yeah.
Did you have a report you gotta give?
The Real California Adobe that I've been working on didn't work out for October because they changed the wording on the sign, so I had to resubmit it to have an artist's conception done of what the new wording's going to be. I had to have that approved by the Adobe and also the county. I did get a surprise phone call from the county, and they've agreed to bring heavy equipment down and help with the cleanup for the day and not charge anybody.
Wow.
I was shocked. County Parks, I said, you're he says, yeah, we just don't have any funds up there, but we are gonna bring heavy equipment down there. So I don't know whether they're volunteer people, but I made him feel bad because I said, you guys have been dumping stuff back there for years and you haven't picked it up, so. Anyway, that's happening. Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
I have something.
For March. Now,
And then, Mr. President, I do want to report on the Lions Club, because we are doing our Santa program at the schools. From what I understand, because Pleasant Valley is actually going on break early, so they are going to make sure to include them as well, so those kids don't get forgotten. And then it sounds like it'll be Lillian Larson next week. Also, I got a notification, the Lions Club will be barbecuing around lunchtime of the day of the parade, and they'll be selling the ribs and tri-tip, $30 for barbecue ribs, $15 for tri-tip. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. But if you remember anything from like what happened during the Sagebrush States Parade, we sold out within about 30 minutes. So we sold out, and then the club decided to sell because some of the members tried, paying for their own and reserving it, and then we sold those too. So that's all I have to report.
thank you. Anybody else from the community?
So why don't you give
Public comment on any of this? Approach the lectern? Seeing none? Kemp Roberts, anybody representing Kemp Roberts here? All right, next, General Manager, staff committee reports, received and filed.
So only have one thing, per the board handbook, the board member compensation is based on doing an annual review. The attorney sent out a questionnaire to all the board members to fill out and return to the attorneys. If you did not receive that, please let me know and we'll resend it. If you did receive it, please fill it out and return it to the attorneys so that it can be completed and presented at the January board meeting. So the sooner you can get that done, the better. Aside from that, my normal spiel, encourage any board member or member of the public with any questions, comments, or complaints about the district operations to contact me at the district office or by email. The district office phone number is 805-467-3388. My email is kelly.dodds, kelly.dodds@sanmiguelcsd.org. If an inquiry is outside of the district scope, we will usually be able to direct individuals to the responsible organization or the department. And general information about the district can also be found on the district website at www.sanmiguelcsd.org. So that's my report as general manager. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any comment?
No.
Okay. District Council? Hello. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Will.
Put your hat on, you're blinded.
Look at him.
That's it. Okay.
Okay, you have it. What happened?
He said he had no report.
No report.
No report, okay. All right, district utilities?
Okay, so I do have my report as written. I do have a couple things to add. We did suffer a broken main in the K Street alley off of 11th Street on 12/8. Was repaired as an emergency repair, so no notice was available to the businesses and residents. However, they were all very accommodating in the shutdown that was necessary to repair that. Paving will be done in conjunction with another project that's also going to require paving. If you remember way back when we got a grant from IRWM for a water line replacement in the Mission L Street alley. The county finally got their agreement with the state, so they'll be getting to our agreement the first part of the year, and hopefully we'll be starting construction in May or June. And that's all I had to add.
Any comment? Okay, let's move on to the fire chief report.
Good evening again. Fire chief report is submitted as written. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have none. Do you have anything? Frank,
I have,
you have something?
I do have something. Mr. Young, I don't know if this will be the right section, because maybe I missed it on this report. So what is the main holdup on that temporary housing unit in the beach station? I understand it's a planning issue.
There's multiple issues. You nailed it on the head, though. The red tape dispensers are continuing to dispense red tape. So we are currently in the final throes of getting our curb gutter and sidewalk waiver through for the Keller property. The county, via ordinance, has a bond or build policy regarding curb gutter and sidewalk, so it's been a tough one to navigate, but via documentation from our strategic plan that denotes what our future plans are for the fire department. So we're able to focus on the future development of the fire station and the adjacent property. So the plan has been developed to show the curb gutter sidewalk apron improvements for that section of land, which we own. And that is going to be the focus for the curb gutter sidewalk improvements. The plan has been submitted, it was crafted, all these things take time and work. And it is up for review. I received an email today saying that they have received it and they understand our situation. It's, I forgot, 91 lineal feet of curb gutter sidewalk and other things. So we will be required to cast a bond, probably 1% for that. We're working with legal to try to see if we can get that way as a public entity. But once again, the ordinance for the county is build or bond. So we'll cross that bridge. The foundation design was brought into question for our modular via the essential services criteria that has been placed on the structure. I've posed many arguments as why our structure does not count as essential services facility based on size, type, use, everything else. It fell on deaf ears. Irregardless, we had to hire an outside engineering consultant to design a seismically appropriate foundation system, whereas Station 30, when they did theirs, Public Works Department did it. They pencil whipped the calcs and threw them through. We had to provide calcs, so that was additional engineering feat that we had to overcome. Those plans were submitted last week. So as I discussed with Commander Manuel, briefly, we are at the steepest vertical part preparing to summit. So we are extremely close to moving the structure. I visit it from time to time. They actually put the two halves together and it's sitting out on Volpe Isabel if you'd like to look at it. But we are very close. So it's been an uphill battle with the minor use permit condition that was part of the approval process, and that was a condition that was placed on the project via the community design plan that was developed in 2015. Staff has done work with the advisory council and county planning, and we are working towards revising certain components of the community design plan to encourage development rather than discourage development. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I'm not going to take any credit for it. Michelle Hyla's done a tremendous amount of work on that community design plan and interacting with the advisory council. I attend the meetings and I put in my planning 2 cents that I have. With hope, they'll make some amendments to that design plan and make things a little more streamlined in the future. That was a long answer, I apologize.
It answers, all the questions that could be about the project. I've been wanting it, for it to come to fruition. I think we've talked about this since, 2017.
Since we started the project and going down the path, and it's been probably, from conception to where we're at now, a good 3 years with the different design changes and shortage of product and, difficulty with bids and things of that nature.
And the red tape and all, county government's very frustrating, so.
And additional cost, which the red tape dispensers are attached to.
And they're not running out of red tape anytime soon. And then also, just real quick, I understand here that the code is moving forward to the Board of Supervisors.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
The
you.
fire code is moving forward.
The fire code, we have that letter, and I'm just kind of holding tight right now. I'm going to wait for submission for the next round of code adoption, so it'll be next month.
Okay.
If we don't have satisfaction. Other agencies are looking at this, and they're looking at it very seriously. The lithium-ion batteries, the solar arrays, the backup generators are a systemic concern for emergency responders. And it just so happens we were kind of at the tip of that spear, and we want to remain at the tip of that spear, and it's prompted a lot of conversation with other agencies. So prior to going into a Board of Supervisors meeting and presenting in front of the Board of Supervisors regarding their staff, I would rather give their opportunity to staff one more chance to kind of see it our way before we go that route.
Absolutely. And I appreciate, the fire department being at the forefront. I appreciate our district being at the forefront of a lot of things, pushing things forward, so we're not being stuck in the status quo. Increasing public safety is a very big, important thing to me. That's all I have at this moment, Mr. Young. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Davis?
Yes, I got two questions, Scott.
Can't see it.
I got two questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, number one, don't we own quite a bit of property north of the fire station?
We do. We own about 70 feet of property north of the fire station.
Okay, so I guess my question was why wasn't that utilized for the substation rather than
Well, if we go back in time to the beginning of this process where we decided that we did have our eye on that property at one time to put something that was smaller or more mobile, but once the plan evolved into including a sheriff report writing room and a larger housing facility, we deemed that the use of that property was no longer practical, because when we move forward with the next phase of our construction project, which is to build an apparatus bay, that building would have to be relocated. So it would be a tear down relocation and placed somewhere else. That's why we explored the Keller property to the south that we entered into the lease. This didn't happen willy-nilly. There was a lot of thought and time put into it. And like Director Calvins has pointed out, this is a years-long project. So you need to understand the depth of work that went into it and the history as to why that happened. But in short, it was impractical because of the next phase of our construction projects for the department's growth, to be able to service the community in the future.
Okay, do you have a long-term lease on that property that's going on?
We had a 5-year lease that we entered into, and we are probably on our 3rd year with that 5-year lease. We had 2 one-year extensions. So we are moving in the direction to where we'll start entering in a year or so. I don't really know the actual dates of it, but we'll probably be looking at maybe another extension. Depends on how quickly we could secure designs and funding and move forward with the apparatus bay that's scheduled for the next step of the process.
Well, what guarantee do you have that Keller's gonna keep extending the lease on that property?
We have the lease and terms of the lease that give us the extension up to another 3 years, 4 years, I think 3 years. Beyond that, nothing really. Only that I've had conversations with the Kellers, and that is their grandchildren's college fund that they're sitting on. And they're in no hurry to do any work on the property. As you well know, you should know by now, doing any development on that property is going to prompt curb gutter and sidewalk, which is going to be to the tune of $300,000. So somebody has to come in with some fairly deep pockets to decide to put anything on that corner. So I think the county in its system is going to guarantee our longevity on our lease.
Well, it sounds to me like you're gonna have all that done. You're gonna have the curb.
I'm going to have none of it done. We are not doing any curb gutter and sidewalk improvements on the Keller property, not an inch.
All right. Oh, my last question. Now, we've had that, and I've looked at it too.
Looks pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. My question is, it's been sitting down there and we've been making payments on it, I think close to 3 years. Is that,
Not quite, we're coming up on our second payment.
okay, is that lot charging storage?
No,
All right, that's all I got.
they're actually using it for a display.
Yeah.
Any public comment?
Where was
Approach, do you need to approach that?
where was this property?
Your
at?
name and your, you know,
Brandon Patterson? I was just wondering where that property was. What was the address?
Which property?
The Keller property.
The Keller property.
It's on the corner of 11th and Mission. It's the property just south of the fire station, where the large eucalyptus trees are. That was a hard
Oh,
one
right
to
on
visit.
the corner. Okay.
Probably diagonal from where you live.
Yeah, it's right across the street from me.
So there's a potential that you will have a sheriff parked there a good majority of the
That's nice.
time, once that project lands.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I was like, that sounds like it's by my house, so.
It is.
Thank you.
thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Moving on to consent calendar. The items listed below are scheduled for consideration as a group and as one vote. Any director may request an item to be withdrawn from the consent calendar to discuss or to change the recommended course of action. Unless an item is pulled for separate consideration by the board, the following items are recommended for approval without further discussion. Public comment. Anybody would like to discuss those items that are on the consent calendar? Approach the lectern. See any? Entertain a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor by Director Gregory to approve items 1 and 2 consent calendar, second by Director Baker. Okay. Director Baker?
Yes.
Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Collins?
Yes.
Director Gregory?
Yes.
President Smiley?
Yes.
Passes 5-0-0.
Thank you. Item 10, board action items. Monthly financial reports for November 2023, recommendation for review and comment. Once the FY 2022-23 audit is approved, formal approval of monthly reports will be presented.
Good evening. So the November financials are on page 101 to 141 of this month's packet. Want to thank the board and Adam for hearing the audit and thank the board for approving the audit. Now in January I can bring back all the financials that you reviewed to receive and file so we can keep going forward. For Anthony's requests about the GFOA and C.S.D. certifications, including the MD&A in the audit is one of the first steps towards those certifications for the budget and transparency and so forth. There